come on, that's kind of the coolest,
Isn't it?
coolest instrument out there. I mean, yeah, we carry the most stuff, but
Yeah.
I mean, everyone comes and sits on the drums, whether a guitar player, a singer, a keyboardist, they always end up on the drums and they want to play drums. Why? Because it's the coolest, funnest thing to play. They look cool. You can change the variation of them, and drums is just the coolest. So I think that goes for drummers too, right?
Welcome back to Drummers High. We're here with a friend of mine that I've known for a little while, Eric Hernandez, also known as iPanda.
I think it's E-Panda.
E-Panda.
Yeah, you know, Eric.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I was thinking I with the intelligent.
I'll take that.
As it should be, right?
As it should be.
As it should be.
How's it going?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm great. I'm great. Just happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Man.
Even considering me, I saw these other drummers in the hallway, and it's like, and I got the list of who's doing this, and it's like, how am I included with this group?
Dude, you're not only do you play well, but you're a great guy. And
Touche.
part of that, part of the whole thing about drumming is that you have a good attitude, and you got a great attitude.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, I didn't do it, you did it.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And you did it too.
Yeah. All right. Enough with the love fest.
Okay. So what are we here for? We're talking about cooking?
Yes, as a
Okay.
matter of fact. When you started
Love
cooking.
to cook.
Actually, do you?
I do, actually.
Now, okay. So it's a creative outlet for you, right?
Yeah.
It is. So look, I consider a lot of things that you do in drumming and the thought process and the energy and the curiosity and all that bleeds into so many other parts of your life. Do you think that's why you like cooking, or is it because it tastes so good?
I mean,
Or both?
I think both. I have to 100% agree with you. The creativeness, the expression,
Yeah.
and then getting the feedback or your, whether it's someone consuming something you made, like my kids,
Yeah.
and they're loving it, or they make that face like they just ate the best burger, for example, they've ever had, or whatever it may be, is the same kind of sensation or feeling you get when you play for me drums and playing music and playing a song that I see the crowd reaction. So it's about the reaction, right?
Yeah.
And getting that satisfaction. So it's the same. Yeah, absolutely right.
So what's your cooking style? What genre do you like the most?
I would say fun, simple,
Yeah.
kind of like the way I like to play music. I don't like complex stuff. I like simple flavors because I think if you keep things simple, they taste better. You can pick out taste and flavor profiles. Same like for me playing. I love seeing a person that's probably not a musician be able to clap to 2 and 4,
Right.
or to the snare, you know, versus them looking awkward. I appreciate when people appreciate what I'm doing. So the same with my cooking is like my kids, you know. I don't take these complex recipes and like I grab a chicken recipe, a few ingredients, steak, 3 ingredients, garlic, salt, pepper, right? It's all how you cook it, how you pick your meat. I can guarantee you if I made you a steak, you'd love it.
You throw in just a little bit of cayenne.
You know what?
Dude. Yeah.
It's a great one.
So you grew up in Hawaii.
Yes.
And that has definitely influenced a lot of you, who you are.
Ton.
How do you think that influenced the way you play?
For me, I guess the best way for me to answer that is the island lifestyle and growing up on an island is very simple.
Yeah.
And you'll hear me use that word a lot because it's kind of like laid back, easygoing.
Yep.
And I think that translates through my everyday activity, whether it's us having a conversation, hanging out for drinks, or my playing or music. Same with the cooking. I'm very laid back. You know, there was a lot of reggae music when I was growing up.
Okay.
And so that was a big influence for me. And just the real like hang loose, chill, you know, so definitely that's what I have brought with me since living there almost all well, not all my life, but my childhood.
Sure.
You know.
So you look at it. It's for you. It's less of a technical challenge. It's much more of an emotional way. The way you're
1000%.
playing is all about how it feels.
1000%, because I am probably one of the least technical people you'll meet.
You haven't seen me play yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you're right. I haven't seen it, but yeah, I'm so not technical, and trust me, it hurts me at times, especially getting older and touring as heavy as we do, and learning how proper technique to help you last longer, play longer.
Yeah.
There's definitely times where I've probably gotten tightened up and shouldn't have been tightened up, but it's because I'm not a technical person. I hate the way I look when I play. Form, I've sought out drum lessons with for technique, with friends of mine in the business, and so yeah, I'm ranting now, but yeah, I kind of definitely not the technical person, just very emotional, like you said, and I think that's my form of expression, whether it's through a drum set, cooking, or just in whatever it is I may be doing.
Being able to play longer and not be, say, in pain or tired at the end of a show. Is this one of the reasons why you started getting into training, in physical training? And I mean, you've changed your form beautifully. Well done.
I appreciate
yes.
that. Thank you.
And it's also informed other parts of your life. But do you find that training is the mindset that goes with that either came from or well informs your drumming?
Mentally, emotionally, physically, yes. The physical fitness has definitely become a part of my life, and it's become a lifestyle change. Yes, it definitely helps me stamina.
Yeah.
Playing these shows, and like I was saying earlier, yeah, I might tire out or I might get stiff. But if you play these long tours, you definitely work those kinks out, and you definitely build up a stamina. But physical fitness definitely is a big part of helping me through all of that.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, like I said, emotionally. And now it's become, as I've gotten older, I'm a father.
Yeah.
Physical fitness has become more for me, let's keep my ticker going.
Yeah.
Of course I want to play shows, but I want to live for my kids and my family. So it's changing to that, but it definitely got me through tons of shows, tons of traveling, and just being better and smarter with your diet and eating and just moving around,
And you feel
outside
better.
of the 1 hour of performing.
You
feel great.
better, yeah.
Feel great.
Yeah. So tell me, as you were growing up, I know there was music in your family.
Yes.
So I know you had an Elvis impersonator for a while, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And but your dad played.
My dad played.
Yep. Did your mom?
Mom was a singer.
Oh, okay. So music was in the family.
Yes.
And was it drums your first instrument, or were there other instruments? What was it that started you off? And then what was that moment that you said, I'm not doing anything but this?
It was all drums.
Yeah, all from the beginning.
From the beginning.
Okay.
So I was born in New York.
Yeah.
Dad doesn't want me growing up in New York.
Yeah.
So he finds a place that he thought would be a nicer place to grow up, and I guess that was Hawaii.
Yeah, well,
so we landed in
yeah.
Hawaii. He couldn't afford a sitter, and he was playing 6 nights a week in a show, but he was a percussionist, a Latin percussionist.
Yep.
So over there, there's a lot of hula, Hawaiian, Samoan musical performances and dances. So he had to support that. So I remember I used to sit under these toeres. If you don't know what toeres are,
Nope.
they're these wooden percussive instruments, and they're cut out, and they're different sizes. They have a rectangular hole, and based on how they're cut, their weight, they can change tones.
Sure.
And when you watch a hula dancer, dancing Polynesian style, a lot of times you'll hear that instrument. Anyway, I used to sit under his toeres, but I would gravitate towards the drummer. And even though my dad's over here showing off, playing for his son as he should, I was like, cool, Dad. That looks really cool. And then I just would watch him, and my dad noted that, and he's like, all right, you know what, I'm going to get my son a drum set. So he got me a trap drum set. I was the age of 4.
Yeah. Wow.
It was a real drum set, so not a kid size like I've purchased for my kids. I couldn't reach the pedal, so I remember I started playing patterns with the floor tom as the kick drum was what I knew. So, you know, boom, ga boom, boom, ga boom, boom. And that was me for a long time.
Sure.
Until I could actually reach. And then, yeah, I self-taught myself. That's kind of how that started. But once we started playing and it became a hobby for me, I'd set up in front of a television set and my favorite cartoon would come on and I played all the soundtrack for that cartoon. So Scooby-Doo was one of my favorite cartoons as a kid. So anytime the theme song comes on at the intro, anytime there's music, in between scenes, I'd play along to that. And to me, in my mind, as a 5, 6-year-old, that was my gig. So when I come home from school, do homework, my drums were in front of a TV, turn on the show and play to it. And that's what I started playing along to. And then my dad had a 50s, 60s review. And by the time I was 10, he brought me in, and I would.
You were good enough at that point to be playing in that band.
I was good enough to play that for doo-wop music. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that was my first experience playing to click track, because back then they already had a click with sequences of music that they had, and so it was my first experience learning to do that. So yeah, it was 10 years old. He brings me in. To fill in a couple days, and he saw that I could handle it. And the guys in the band were like, oh, he can play. He's cool. Yeah, keep him in. So I was able to stay with my dad's band. And that was when I first realized that I need to do this, that I enjoyed being behind the drums, in front of people, and performing. And then, a few years later, Bruno comes along, and he starts as an Elvis impersonator.
Yeah.
And here I am playing behind him.
Still in Hawaii.
Still in Hawaii.
Yeah.
He's 4.
He was 4
he
when
was
he was
4
doing
when
that?
he started.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was probably about 14.
Yeah.
And I've been behind him ever since, so to speak. and it's been great. And, it's funny, just to kind of touch on it, a lot of times people say, hey, Bruno's always in the front, and that ever bother you? And I think this goes back to your question. It's like, you know what, that never bothered me ever, because I've always enjoyed being behind the drums. Like, that was what I took pleasure doing.
Yeah.
I'm not a front guy. I want to be the guy that's in the back, behind my drum set, playing music, playing drums, and seeing people enjoy what I'm doing. Because, obviously we know the drums is the foundation, right? So to see drums being appreciated, that's all I ever needed. So it's never been a competition thing, or he's in the front, he's the singer, he gets this. Nah. I've always, like you asked, when I was 10, performing in front of an actual live audience, that was it. And this is where I want to be.
And, so he is also a drummer.
He also can play.
He can play, but now, I don't want to get too far into family dynamics, but at the same time, this is your kid. This is you playing. You communicate, you understand what he's looking for, but still it's your personality coming through the drum kit.
Yes.
And that energy, that thought process, and you must have a good symbiotic relationship. You grew up together, or at least closely. So you've got that open, free ability, which means, as most drummers, we don't like to be told what to do, but at the same time, we're
especially
supporting.
When it's your brother.
Well,
younger brother. No.
Well, I am the younger brother, so I can't quite get your dynamic on that.
True.
But at the same time, your curiosity, your ability to think more broadly, you're still allowed to play that, and you bring that to the kit every night. I
appreciate that, and yes, I try to. You know, we have a similar playing style. I mean, we come from the same school of music, through our dad and what he exposed us to, what we were listening to. And, Bruno's is very much a simpleton himself. But the hard part about someone like Bruno is he's also a producer, So being a drummer for someone that's a producer, can be challenging, but can be fun at times because, it's challenging because you want to recreate what he produced, and as a producer, he wants what he created and produced to be played, right?
Right.
Or translated.
Yeah.
So that's also fun for me to like. It's almost like a challenge, you know. And the less is more thing kind of works out for us. There's times, you know, look, I'm with a 7-piece band, and you know, there's times you try to be music or you try to step out and reach out a little bit. Bruno will be the first one to look back. Hey, that was a cool feel, but yeah, don't put that there.
Don't do that again.
Don't do that again. You know, and sometimes when you get that, you hear that, it stings a little bit, especially because you think, oh, that's cool, and my musician friends are gonna think this is a cool lick right here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna get that woo. But then he takes it away from you, and then it's like, oh, that sucks. But then you realize, you know what? He knows what he's talking about. It's his song. He produced it. He wrote it. And to be quite honest with you, it's cool. My musician friends really love what I'm doing or trying to do, but the listener or audience member or fan came to hear what they know as a Bruno song.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Fair enough?
Yeah, fair enough.
But yes, the communication is there.
Yeah.
And I know how to handle him, and he knows me, and he knows, like, he's a great studio drummer.
Yeah.
You know, he knows my thing's always been that live element. I can take his song and wake it up a little bit while keeping it loyal to what he created.
Right, right. So in playing these, and I mean, you grew up with the same type of music. You enjoy the same type of music. I'm sure you like the songs that you're playing. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yes.
As you're going along and you're playing, and you get that night, or it could be every night, doesn't really matter. But you get that time when you feel like, man, I got this going on tonight. And the band's coming together, and you can really, the hooligans are right nice and tight, and the audience is giving that energy back, and you all of a sudden, you're in nirvana. You're in a different spot. You've been there.
Yeah.
Often? And what's it like for you? I call that's the drummer's high.
Yeah, it could be one of the most amazing feelings. Almost where you forget what you're doing and you're kind of just, I don't want to say autopilot, but it's just like, it's almost like this bliss, like,
Yeah.
you know, you're on a high, a cloud 9, right? I think a lot of times what happens with me when I get to that is I start to think to myself, wow, I'm pretty damn lucky to be up here. And you look up in the audience, you know, and you see in these massive arenas or a stadium, people filling the seats, the floor's packed. And it's like, wow, I'm a lucky son of a bitch. You know, every night the curtain opens, it looks the same. It's full of people.
Yeah.
And they're jamming and they're having a great time. And yeah, it's such a good feeling that, and like you said, a nirvana where it's like, yeah, you're almost gone.
Yep.
You know? And you lose it for a second, like, holy shit. And then the music kicks back in, like you hear it, it comes back into your ears, and like, oh, okay, yeah. Here comes that, you know, verse. Yeah.
It's almost like you said, autopilot, but you know what you're doing, you're still doing it, but you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah, you're just moving.
It just happens.
And you're like, oh man, that was 8 bars that just went by.
Yeah.
You know, and I was thinking about this, but I'm playing and the show's just still going.
God, it's a good feeling, isn't it?
Probably one of the best feelings in the world.
So, drummers, we're different. When we come into a room and we see another drummer, just as when you came in here, it's like, hey man, how you doing? Give each other a hug, say, hey, what's happening, slap, and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't seem to happen the same way, or at least not as openly, with other members of the band. Tell me about an anecdote or a time when you had that friendship, that camaraderie, that sharing with another drummer, and you know, the feeling that you get from being able in part of that family of musician.
You know, actually, for me, I could say it happens quite often. You know, when we tour, you bring on, whether you're headlining or you're supporting, you work with a lot of other musicians. And, you know, the supporting act might have a drummer playing that I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah.
You know, or I've grown up watching, and you get to finally share the stage together or work together, talk. I can learn from him, ask him questions I've always wanted to know, talk about tones, talk about cymbals, you know, and it's like, I think that's for me, it's definitely it's an instant brotherhood.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's like you just said, I see drummers, you know, in a room, or if I see them in an arena, or they've come to watch a show, or yes, they're part of the other act. It's like, holy shit, that's that guy. You immediately go and you talk. There's no like, I wonder if he's cool. No, you just go, hey man, big fan, or hey, Eric, nice to meet you. And it's instant shop.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you knowing each other, you know, and you're talking. Yeah, I think for me, that's when that happens for me the most. Unfortunately, because I'm a family guy, and you know, Chris knows this. You know, we try to get together, but it's like I'm doing family things when I'm off the road that I don't even get to see my friends, brothers and sisters that play drums that come into town. I don't even get to really go watch them play, and I should as a musician and as a friend support, but it's like when I'm home, and I'm kind of like in this world. So for me, it's when I get to go out and I'm traveling and I'm working and I'm around, you know, my peers. That's when I get to share experiences, talk shop. But yes, it's an instant, like we've known each other.
Yeah, yeah. Well, do you think that's part of just because, you know, we play drums, or because of the physicality and the mental and the voice that we have in our minds, that just, this is drumming. It's not, I don't want to put down guitar, but it's not strumming and moving fingers. It's your whole body into it. It's your lifestyle. Does that feed that, you think?
I would say all of the above.
Yeah.
And come on, that's kind of the coolest,
Isn't it?
coolest instrument out there. I mean, yeah, we carry the most stuff, but
Yeah.
I mean, everyone comes and sits on the drums, whether a guitar player, a singer, a keyboardist, they always end up on the drums and they want to play drums. Why? Because it's the coolest, funnest thing to play. They look cool. You can change the variation of them, and drums is just the coolest. So I think that goes for drummers too, right?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a given.
I agree. There was one guy who said that because we have to keep, you were saying, because it's not easy to bring this thing around. You got to go in and out, and you're carrying the drums. It's a shared pain that we all enjoy together.
Yeah. Yeah. This is true. That's a good point.
So your voice, your unique voice, with the way you grew up and the music you heard, and sharing that with the band leader, who is also a drummer. Are you hearing your playing from, say, what was recorded to what's live, informing the way the band plays because of the energy that you put in, compared to the energy that I'll just call him the writer put in, right? And the way that you're putting in, can you feel and hear that difference in the energy and the way that the song comes out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the obvious, you know, when you go live, sometimes you raise it up a couple BPMs.
Yeah.
Obviously, some changes in the music, you know, different hits here and there, and changing the format of the song, but keeping it organic. Yeah, you hear it and you feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now, playing, not only because, I mean, you're using the energy, you're getting it out, but you're getting energy back. And it's almost like, I consider it like you're getting all that any negative or any pent-up energy is out, and the energy that's coming back is musical. And so it can change your mental state. Do you find this also something that is a positive in the rest of your life, in the way that you handle other relationships? In other words, you're able to have that conversation more broadly now because of the way that you play and the energy that you put into it, and the curiosity and the mental agility?
Sure, I think it's a little bit reversed sometimes for me, because sometimes how I handle things personally comes with me when I'm playing drums. You know,
Okay.
if top of the show I make a mistake, it might bother me, and I'll try to mentally tell myself, okay, get out of it. That's one mistake. Let's kill the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll weigh on me, and I was like, damn it, I can't believe I did that. Or if a band member looks back at me because I made some type of mistake. And sometimes I'll carry that with me. And that's how I am in my personal life. I like to please. You know, I don't ever want to feel like I let someone down.
Right.
And, you know, we're talking about a missed hit, or maybe sometimes you drop a stick, but musicians don't know that. They look back because where was that crash? Where was that snare? But I would still feel like I let them down because I'm such a perfectionist. So that's why I said the reverse thing, because same in life. I'm a perfectionist, and I don't want to let my family down. I don't want to let my friends down. You know, and I try to keep everybody happy. So I think that translates with me and my music. So, you know, my personality speaks through my drums, so does my emotions, and not just the color of playing, but also the emotions of not wanting to let anybody down, whether it's the artist or the crowd, my fellow musicians.
Your kit, do you consider that a tool? Or for you, is that something that is a living instrument that is an extension of you, that you are now a whole part of the instrument? Or is it the type of thing where you are in control and I am playing the kit and the kit is doing as I ask?
I think it's one and the same. It's an extension of yourself, but it's a tool. And if you're playing at a level of touring with a major act, I think you need to have the right tools.
Yep.
I don't set up my drum sets because I want to have roto toms or because I want to have, you know, this massive drum kit around me. You know, it differs for me based on what the music calls for on the tour.
Yep.
You know, this last run was very 90s inspired, R&B. So I look back at when I grew up watching 90s guys play on Arsenio Hall, or when you seen them on TV, what their kits look like, YouTube, whatever. I use all the tools, and when you know drums, you listen, you hear what they're playing, you can tell what they're playing. Same when it came to hanging out with Chris Stanky and say, hey, I need this kind of sound. You know, we went down to smaller crashes, where the last run I was playing 22 crashes, you know, and 20s. I didn't have a cymbal smaller than a 20. And big hi-hats, where this one I went down to 14-inch hats and
down to 14.
Down to 14-inch
okay,
hats.
Yeah.
So, and we had 13s in my arsenal just in case.
Yeah.
But it's like having the right tools for the gig, for the right sounds, and then you have to let those tools be an extension of your body, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And that's how I tackled the gig. So this last run, I had a big kit.
Yeah.
It was, and I'm not gonna lie, and I post pictures a lot of my drum set because I love drums.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, non-musicians, usually would say, "Do you really hit everything there?" And it's like, you look at it, it's like, yeah, it's quite intimidating, and it does look a little crazy, but yeah, I do. Even if I have one pad over here that is for a specific sound when I'm on this side of the kit, that's why it's there. So yes, it's your tool. You have to have the right tools on. In front of you, and you have to let your body run those tools, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully you become one with your instrument, and it flows, and then it translates and
right.
sounds
Energy
good.
out and energy back.
Out,
Yeah.
energy back.
Yeah. Oh.
When I was you,
Hey, 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 hey.
I heard you niggas going crazy.
The Fast Five. Top 3 non-drumming heroes.
Top 3 non-drumming heroes. Bobby Flay.
Ah, okay. Beat Bobby Flay, sure.
Beat Bobby Flay.
Yeah.
Shane Victorino, baseball player, came out of Hawaii, won 2 world championships.
Wow.
My dad.
Perfect. Do you ever plan on getting on Beat Bobby Flay?
Yeah,
Good.
I do.
Good.
I plan on beating him.
Yeah.
You hear this, Bobby?
I'm
Plan
coming
on
after
beating
you.
him.
What are you talking about?
Coming after you, baby.
Yeah.
If you could not be a drummer, what would be your second choice of profession?
Baseball player.
Okay, all right. And which position?
Based on my height, maybe shortstop.
Okay.
And I don't play. Let me just make that clear. Like it's funny. I love baseball. I've grown to love it, especially my son plays, and he's an amazing ball player. And so now growing up, I'm living through him.
Yeah.
Right. He's the athlete I never was because I grew up with music. From 4. So I love watching him do what he does, and we've this has become our thing, our connection. We go to Dodger games all the time together, and we love watching it on TV if we're not at the ballpark. He's playing. He's a killer player, and so yeah, I would say that because now that I've gotten so consumed by baseball, I always say to myself, man, that would have been a cool sport to participate in, and if you could make it in the major leagues, I think it'd be pretty awesome. And you know what's funny is that, and I've made acquaintances with some ball players. They live a similar lifestyle to a touring musician.
Yeah, I've heard the same.
You know, they're in buses, planes, hotels. In fact, sometimes we're in the same hotels with these ball players that come into town. It's like, and it dawned on me when I see them. It's like, wow, they really do live like us, and it's living out of a suitcase sometimes, and their season is so long. And it's like, wow, it's like a tour run.
For them, there's 20 hours of nothing to do.
Yeah.
And then 4 hours of playing.
Yeah. For us, it's 23 hours of nothing to do, 1 hour of playing.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty close. I would say that.
So you're a Dodgers fan?
Huge.
You must hate me.
I don't hate you. I can never hate you, Andy. We go way back now. So.
Not that I'm a big baseball fan, but it is always fun to watch the Red Sox win. So I apologize.
Yeah, you guys crush us on
it's
this
just
last
kind of
one. But, who's got the best record in baseball now?
I don't know.
Not
I don't
Boston,
watch baseball.
Not the Red Sox.
Okay.
But actually, there's a Red Sox that is a fan that's come out to shows in Boston. JD Martinez.
Oh yeah, yep.
And cool guy.
Yeah.
And so no, I have respect for all players and all teams. But yeah, Dodger fan. I live out here.
Well, you have to be.
Have to be.
Plus, they have the best record in baseball.
They do.
Okay, good. All right. Strangest venue in which you ever played. What made it that way?
Man, strangest venue.
That could even be back when you were in Hawaii.
I know I've played in some interesting places. It has to be strangest?
Or oddest, weirdest, whatever.
Weirdest. Oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
2010, we were promoting Nothing on You, which was Bruno and B.O.B. Bruno was featured. And that's when that song was hot. And it was kind of the start of where we're at today.
Yeah.
But we were touring, and we were in Hamburg, Germany. And there's a place, I think it's called Beatles Mania or something like that. And it's really it's almost like a coffee shop. And we were opening up for Travie McCoy. He was the headliner. And it was the smallest venue. And you see the coffee counter there, tables, and it was just super tight. So maybe that could be one of the oddest
That
places
wasn't at the Reeperbahn, was it?
Near.
Oh. That would be an odd place to play.
I didn't take a look at that place, but I didn't walk around that area.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not a good place to hang out.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Oh. Something that you've done that you would never do again.
Okay. VMAs. We were doing a tribute to Amy Winehouse.
Yeah.
We were wearing suits, and I had a hardwired pack on for my in-ears, and I had stuck the pack, clipped it to my suit pants pocket. I didn't double eat something. And now I've learned. Okay, had it clipped to my pants pocket. We're playing a show. Halfway through playing the song, the tribute. Halfway through the song, my belt pack falls. Okay, because remember, I'm wearing slacks, so it's a thin material.
Oh, right.
So this clip's not holding on, and my leg's moving with the hi-hat, so the belt pack falls, ears come out, go silent.
Yeah.
And this is one of the first times we played with tracks, with a click, because we usually play live. And I lost my ears, and thankfully I was watching my bass player move, But with ears, it's a dead, quiet stage. All I hear is drums. And we were about 8 bars away from an a cappella section, and that saved me. I didn't know if I swayed a bit, and I'm sure I did. I know I did. It's natural, because at first I go into panic mode, but then it's like, okay, focus. A cappella section hits. I'm reaching down, and it's dark where I'm at on stage, because now the lights are on the front where those guys are singing. I'm like, I find it, plug it back in. Thank God, right before the music, the rest of us instruments come back in, finish the song. Through that song, and I remember Bruno looked back at it and said, what happened? And I through that song, I remember saying, that's it, my drumming career is done.
Oh.
It's over. This is on TV.
Yeah.
We're doing a tribute. VMAs. I remember Nissan Stewart was in the house band watching, and I was just like, oh my God, my career's done, and I haven't even started. Go back and watch it, and you can't tell, thank God.
Yeah.
But what I would never do again now that I do as a habit is, I'm sure most smart drummers do, because I wasn't smart, is they wrap their ears through the clip so that if it does fall, it doesn't pull out of the plug.
Right. Yep.
Didn't do that. And the hardwired packs are a lot heavier than your wireless ones. So, yeah, I learned from that, and thankfully I got through that song and that performance, and it was almost seamless. It was like we knew.
Yeah.
But,
but that's the key. You knew, but no one in the audience
No one in
did.
the audience.
Yep.
And it's on the internet, it's on TV, and oh man, like I said, I thought my career was over.
So every time you watch it now, you look at it and
I
go,
can't watch it.
That's where I did that.
I can't watch it.
Have you ever heard anybody else say anything about, not in the band, anybody else ever say, Eric, what happened there?
Nope.
Then you're fine.
I know I'm fine, but I can't watch it because I cringe knowing that went down.
Oh, man.
So, but like I said, that'll never happen again.
Well, think of it this way. You dropped the ball, but you still made a double play.
I did.
Okay?
Like that.
Yeah.
Way to bring it back.
Yeah. I mean, you could have had them all out at once, but you made a double play. Okay, and if you could learn today any style of rhythm, anything, or improve what you already do know, what would it be and why?
I'd probably want to go the jazz fusion route. Not because it opens up ideas.
It's like the Billy Cobham type thing?
Definitely
or?
Billy Cobham,
Yeah.
Tony Williams, Wecco, of course, Vinny. I mean, I never played like that, and I don't play like that. I don't try to play like that. It's just not me. I'm a 2 and 4 guy, simpleton, R&B, funk. Yeah, I would definitely want to have enhance my studies in jazz and fusion.
It'd be fun to learn,
Yeah,
but not knowing it hasn't hurt your career.
knock on wood.
There you go. All right, man. Hey, Eric, thanks, man.
Thank
That was
you,
a lot
man.
of fun.
That was a lot of
I like hanging
fun.
out with you. You're a good guy.
We should drink sometime.
What are you doing this afternoon?
Hey,
Thanks for coming to Drummer High. And
Thanks for having
Panda,
me.
Eric, good job, man. Keep it up.
Thank you,
You're having a
Andy.
great run.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.